Stock market absolutely roaring. The only thing not green today is my shirt. We got green candles, green lights. We're killing it. We got Bitcoin back above 100,000. We're going to break that all down right now. Starting off first with the dollar. Now the dollar sold off a little bit. It is testing a weekly zone, so let's jump here to a daily time frame. Checking that out. Let's see if it rejects. That would suck because I finally switched gears and went long, which is par for the course that I go long the dollar, just riding the trend, and then that happens. So currently, I am long the US dollar Japanese yen, and you might think that sounds weird because as it was coming into this zone, I went short. That top wick actually got me to switch gears and go long, and then now here we are. So I would prefer that actually kind of kick up right now. But we'll see. As the dollar sells off, that could be bullish for the markets, and I did expect January to be bullish. So I might actually switch gears. Again, we'll have to see. Right now, it's been incredibly range-bound as far as the U.S. dollar Japanese yen goes. So, sucks to suck. It was actually this green wick that tagged me in. So one of these is right where my stop was at. I was green briefly, momentarily, still in it, red. Anyway, the moment you've all been waiting for, Bitcoin. We're going to talk about these trend lines here in a second. Bitcoin, incredibly range-bound. What I talked about with my group was, as of right now, we still have to contend with a lower high. To really make this thing range bound, it needs to get to that 103-ish level. 103, give or take 1,000. For 103,000, that's a $1,000 variant there is really nothing. Really looking forward to seeing that get up there. If it does contest this, then I got to say, I'm not worried about this zone right here breaking just yet. If we were to break that, hit that again, make yet another lower high, at that point, I would almost be tempted to go short. Getting ahead of ourselves here because I'm going to talk about later in a different asset class. I don't trade Bitcoin. I do just buy it. That's it. So the more it goes up or down, doesn't really matter to me. I buy it every week. But for the Bitcoin related tickers, that being, let's talk about Mara. Mara's a Bitcoin miner. Had a pretty decent week, just bouncing off there. That's still range bound, so let's see how that overall performs. But what everyone really is watching, MicroStrategy. Now, if that turns out to be a lower high on Bitcoin, people that are selling puts on this, people that bought calls, if you sold puts, you're probably going to own some shares. If you bought calls, that's a loser, whether you want to tag out or rock that thing down. That's the one I would be nervous in. This is the more popular play for Bitcoin right now. That one, I would be a little bit, I'd have my eyes on it. I'll put it that way. Jumping back into the markets right now. The S&P, if you guys were here Sunday, I specifically told you this looks like a bear trap. I think this week is going to be bullish. Here's what we were looking at as far as the week goes. That's how we ended. So as I'm streaming on Sunday, told you guys, bear trap. Not to toot my own horn, but this just kind of had it written all over it. Like, you start to get everybody thinking, maybe the crash is happening now. I've been talking about a crash that's going to happen this year. My opinion, I do think, is in March. But, I started talking about that back here in November. And I was like, hey, we're going up for now. Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. We started just really trending down, and the questions in the comments were just popping up nonstop. Is the crash now? Is it possible that it's not March, that it's now? I was like, nah, right now it's just a leg down. We kind of played this game last January as well. The first week was red, and then we just sent it. Not that I play that kind of scenario every time, but I wasn't ready to throw in the towel just yet. So nice to see that we are incredibly bullish. I don't know what the PPI and CPI data did say. I'm sure you guys watch other YouTubers for the news anyway. These things just happen coincidentally at these zones. The S&P was an incredible week for the ES. So as of Sunday, I told you guys I was long ES, and then on Friday, I actually bought some S&P calls. We were at that blue zone. We did tag that and bounce. This is where I went long ES, made it all the way to this zone right here. This actually tagged a couple times to go down to the hourly. Okay. So I ended up trading an ES contract from zone to zone, still in SPY calls. Now, it had sold off. I was on a smaller time frame. Okay, so right here, a report came out. We had sold off right to the report. So I went long ES there, sent it back up. That tagged out. I did not buy it here. However, when we came back down, if you go to the 15-minute, there was actually a little base out right here. I ended up grabbing that, rocking that, and that absolutely killed it today. And just been very easy. If you gave that any kind of wiggle room at all, it's very hard. So I did close my S&P calls today. As far as the ES contract, I am still in it from down here. So if you guys ever want those, these are all plays that I called out inside my mentorship group. So if you're watching here on YouTube. And, I go live on Sundays, Sunday, Wednesday, Thursday. This particular one, not live for what I have going on this week. But every bit of everything that I did, you could have done just from watching Sunday's video, Sunday's live stream. That's free. But if you want to check out the Patreon, it'll be the top pinned comment down below. So feel free to check that out, and I will see you guys obviously in the next video. Just kidding. All right, so we got up to 1 standard deviation, also a number we went over on Sunday. This is why I closed my SPY calls. Because I'm still in futures, if I can manage that around the clock, I can just trail that. So who knows how long I'll still be in that one. As long as the green candles keep coming, hey, if I stay on the gain train until it turns around. When it turns around, that'll be my stop. Everyone else can hold those bags. Now, the NASDAQ, we kind of had this range. We broke out. I said this one even looks the weakest, but still we got back above. So we're going to take this range. I kind of want to leave it on there for now, but when I draw these ranges, that really tells me we're inside a candle. But inside that range, we had Christmas. It was a short week. New Year's, short week. Then we had, Carter Day. It's been a whole month. This is our first full week. So kind of taking that with a grain of salt. We're roaring back right now. When it comes to the S&P and the NASDAQ, the one thing I'm watching, because I am short Tesla, that's also a play I went over on Sunday. My alert went off, and I did take it. Kind of like what I was going over with Bitcoin, we do have to worry about this lower high situation right here. I'm going to take this range off now for the ES as well. Putting in that lower high, at this point, lower highs, lower lows, that is a channel down. There's just not much you can say about that. I wouldn't call this a rip your face off rally. All this is so far, a channel down. So that's why ultimately I chose to close my SPY calls. It was a great gain. But as far as this goes, I kind of want to just keep an eye. If tomorrow, Thursday, we pull back, I'm still buying the dip. I'm buying the dip for a bullish Friday, and I'll probably be bullish over the weekend. But for me tomorrow, for me to not buy that dip, we would have to show up like it's World War III kicking off. We need to be down here. Tomorrow we sell off, we make it to this blue zone. Maybe we grind down all day, and maybe we tag this. What do we have going on tomorrow? Thursday. Ooh, we got some volatility. Jobless claims. Okay, retail sales. We have a couple of things pre-market. If you're watching this video now, you're already on that ride as far as options go. If you're not in futures like myself, maybe you're on Robinhood trading a 24-hour market, but right now you're on the jobless claims report. There'll be some volatility pre-market. I guess that being said, pre-market volatility sends it all the way down here. I would buy the dip. Outside of that, if we're in market hours, everyone's here, all hands on deck, and we're still that far down, then maybe I wouldn't. But it would need to be a pretty bloody red day for me to not buy that dip. Now, as far as the NASDAQ goes, pulling back to here, that would just be a bull flag. What to see? I don't know what would cause that. Everything was pretty green today. There's not much everything had its individual news, but things... If you guys wonder why I don't really break down the news, why I didn't really go over PPI or CPI numbers, it's because it just doesn't matter, in my opinion. If it does, how was I able to call this out on Sunday? And I've been doing this for 12 or 13 years, starting in 2013. Do the math. I've been on YouTube since 2017. This is not the first time I've called something out. In fact, I'm more right than I am wrong a lot of the times, and I don't know any of the numbers. I know them for conversation purposes, but that's about it. The thing is, as a trader, you need movement to make money. So do these institutions. So call it an excuse, call whatever you want. I'm not here for opinions, but I am here for income. So that's why I bought this dip and sent it. So hopefully right now we don't make a lower high. I'd prefer we didn't. We could just carry that on to March. I would rather be right on the crash. That being said, I am short Tesla. We will go over that in a second. Grandpa Dow. Look at that. Now, this one absolutely looked horrible. Look at this. I'll take this rally off, and look what we're looking at. Now, if there's a time to get in short, it's that one. Look at that thing on screen. Let me make sure we're good here. Let's take the rally off. Just a nice trend down, the bottom falls out. We hang that thing sideways. When stocks push up and they have those big moves, they pull over or they pull back. And that's kind of all that did. And then we kicked that year off again with more red candles. Grandpa Dow found a little blue bottle at the little blue pill at the bottom. Anyway, sent it. It's working. So we're all the way back up. Hit that zone. Breathing a little life back into the market. So the U.S. Dow, if it could just pull back to this zone, make a higher low, that might be a nice dip buy opportunity right there. Other than that, you have to break above this zone and check that from the top for me to probably go long. As far as the Russell, dropped all the way down, hit that zone. This is what I did talk about on Sunday as well, because somebody asked, why didn't I buy the Russell when I bought the S&P? They said the Russell got hit harder. And I said, well, the S&P was in a zone. This was not. If I were to do it, it would be, hang on, it was right. That's what it looked like right there, what you see on screen. I said I would do it if it got to that zone. So if you listened to that and took advantage of that, boom. That was a nice play for the Russell. I would, however, tighten up my stops right here. That's going to be a decent spot. In fact, that's right inside here. Would be a speed bump zone. If I was in options, they would be closed. If I'm in futures, honestly, my stop would be right below this red candle. And I would be looking for a zone-to-zone trade. You want to give it the proper wiggle room, but at that point, we pushed up, we sold off. The buyers are back in control, which is why my stop would be right here. For that stop to trigger, buyers are no longer really in control. Jumping into my Tesla play. Now, this actually took a couple times because on Sunday, I set this alert and said, I'm going to short this thing if it gets to 420. And it did. So it jumped up to 420. I did grab some Tesla puts. Those were amazing. Now, I closed half, jumped back up, got back in again. Now, those actually are red this time. So as of right now, you guys know Elon's going to buy TikTok, right? What do you think he's going to use to buy those things? He's going to sell his shares. Can we get that rumor going? Elon, obviously, to fund TikTok, needs to sell all of his Tesla shares, all of them. So anyway, that's the sell order we got coming up. Just kidding. Looking at Tesla, this is just a normal thing. I'm a big Tesla fan. I've had Tesla forever. In fact, when I started this YouTube channel, I was talking about Tesla. So guys, just a criteria check. I did not start trading in 2021. I didn't come in the hype when everyone else already was. I was here long before the crazy rally. I was telling everybody to buy Tesla when it was at $300 the first time, and everyone kept telling me it was expensive. Anyway, when it jumps up like this, every time it's a spike, it pulls back. Maybe one day it won't, but what I'm not afraid of is Tesla just gapping to 600 overnight. So with that being said, I am short this. To be clear, guys, and this is very important, I do have an investment account and I have a trading account. The investment account, I do have calls sold on Tesla. And now as far as Tesla and Meta goes, I'm going to start selling some 40, 45 Delta calls. And if we do push up, I'll let go of those shares. I'm going to let go about 30% of both those positions, again, because I do think we're going to crash this year. That's as much as I'm comfortable letting go. I'm going to let go of those with the idea I'm going to put that same money, if not more, back later, cheaper. Anyway, when it comes to your investment account, now I could talk trading all day, every day. It doesn't matter. Markets are constantly moving. The news is just an excuse and a conversation point, right? When it comes to the investment account, I typically say don't touch it. There is a thing where you just have it and it does just grow. And if you're just not, and I'm not trying to toot my own horn, if you're not at my level, it's probably not worth, and by probably I mean a very high probability, not worth you touching it. If you're in an actual decent ticker, you didn't find about it from Facebook, your wife's boyfriend, someone on Reddit, there was no MOAS considered, nothing was mentioned. You're in something like, so everything I'm in, right? I'm in Meta, Tesla, Nvidia, Microsoft, Google, Amazon. Those, World War III breaks out, still going to be there on the other end. If there's another pandemic, those aren't going anywhere. So if you're in any real tickers, there's a reason a handful of them carry half the market. Those are just the ones I'm in. If you're in that, you're going to see, let's say I'm right, crash happens this year. You're going to watch your money theoretically go down and then probably right back up.